be a part of the Blood Brothers digital experience. I'm going to make DTFC champions on FIFA. I want one of you to come and join us. You need to go and register at esoccerchampionships.com, and the opportunity of representing DTFC.
We let our football do the talking, whether it's on the pitch or whether it's digital. United stand was easy, 7-0, and they have TV, 5-1 in the final. Hey, DTFC!
Football. I told you.
Oh my God, blood, look at this guy.
Who's going to finish bottom?
You, blood.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to be talking about Spurs because they have confirmed that one of their staff members have tested positive for coronavirus. We're also going to be talking about Jadon Sancho because the German FA have confirmed that they will not be taking any action over his goal celebration at the weekend. And the last piece of news involves Mesut Ozil because he has been dropped by Adidas and they will not be renewing their contract with him at the end of this season.
I represent my fucking self. How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place we're going to start is Spurs, and the news that broke yesterday that they have had one positive test result back for coronavirus. Now, Tottenham have confirmed they have received the only positive test for coronavirus from the fifth round of Premier League testing results. The fifth batch of tests took place on Monday and Tuesday this week. A statement from Tottenham read, "We have been informed by the Premier League that we have received one positive test for COVID-19 following the latest round of testing at our training centre. Due to medical confidentiality, the individual's name will not be disclosed. They are currently asymptomatic and will now self-isolate for 7 days in line with the Premier League protocol before undergoing further testing. We shall continue to strictly adhere to the Premier League's return to training protocol, which ensures our training centre remains a safe and virus-free working environment." It follows the fourth round results which were published last weekend, in which there were no positive tests included. A total of 12 individuals tested positive for COVID-19 out of 3,882 from the initial 4 rounds. All 20 top flight clubs who have now returned to close contact training are continuing to adhere to the latest medical advice from the government and Public Health England to enable a phased resumption of sport in the UK as a return to Premier League matches behind closed doors approaches. So yes, a bit of an interesting one, and of course with them not naming who the individual is, we don't know whether it might be a member of staff, whether it's a player, but of course that's their right. They don't have to reveal who it is, but the rumour mill will start and there will be people that start to suggest who it may well be, and the name that's being mentioned is Serge Aurier, and one of the reasons for that is because he's been caught to break the lockdown rules on a couple of occasions. Most recently, only a couple of weeks ago, where he went to get a haircut. So you've got to wonder who it may well be. And if it is someone like Aurier, you can see why Spurs would not want that name out there, because people would just say, "I told you so." It's his own fault for his own actions. So you can see why they don't want to. And what I will say is that rivalries aside, you know, when health is, being brought into play, and whoever it may be, we wish them a speedy recovery and that they can get back to training as soon as possible, and that everything will be fine and there's no long-lasting effects of the COVID-19. So interesting, and I'm sure, no doubt, there will be some more rumours over the coming days, and we may eventually find out who it is. But at the moment, I don't think it's really that important. And when you're looking at the figures in terms of how many's been tested after the fourth batch, 3,882 and 12 individuals tested positive. So That's actually not a bad ratio at all, and it seems to be very much under control. But it's not the Premier League that I'm worried about, it's the public in general, because we've seen a lot of what's going on in, you know, recent weeks on the beaches and everything else, and you know, parties, and it's not great. And I do fear for that second spike, but I'm praying, really, really praying that there's not going to be that second spike and that we can get through this, because lockdown's just gone on long enough now, man. Let's just get out and try and be as normal as we can be again. But we will wait and see. Next piece of news goes to the Bundesliga and Jadon Sancho, and the German FA will not take action against Jadon Sancho and other Bundesliga players who displayed anti-racism messages following the death of George Floyd. Dortmund and England winner Sancho, along with Marcus Thuram, Hakimi and Weston McKennie, all could have faced sanctions for their reactions to George Floyd's death in Minneapolis. Sancho showed a t-shirt with the message "Justice for George Floyd" after scoring for Dortmund, while Thuram knelt after scoring for Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Schalke's McKennie wore an armband with "Justice for George" on it. Sancho was shown a yellow card, and that will actually not be counted, as it was given to him for removing his shirt. The committee also wants to maintain this line in the event of renewed anti-racism campaigns on the occasion of the violent death of George Floyd on the coming match days, read a DFB statement. I expressly welcome the far-sighted decision of the DFB Control Committee, and I'm very happy about it, said DFB President Fritz Keller in the message. The association strongly opposes of any form of racism, which is why the actions of the players have our respect and understanding. FIFA has also urged competition organisers to use common sense when considering whether to punish players for protesting against the death of Floyd during matches. The Football Association in England has promised to take a common sense approach to players involved in gestures or behaviour promoting the anti-discrimination message. So that's actually good, and that's actually a bit of a breakthrough, because we've all seen it and we've all heard about it, and even this Jadon Sancho situation, the referees' hands are tied by the organisations. They're in fear of being put in the dock and, you know, being in trouble themselves if they do not follow the rules. And we've seen it in other incidents, not even, you know, involving this specific moment. We've seen ones in England, for example, Leicester. I remember there was one when it was their owner that passed away with a helicopter crash. And I think one of the games after, it might have been James Maddison, I think it was, scored and revealed a message, you know, rest in peace to their owners and whatnot. And yeah, he was booked, and you could see at the time the referee was looking like, I don't want to do it, I don't want to book you, but my hands are tied. So now with this from the organisations in place, it gives the referees that bit of leeway. They can look at this situation and they can say, you know what, he's not ripping off his shirt and throwing it into a crowd and trying to waste time, and it's a genuine reason behind it. And, you know, there are scenarios where it can be accepted. You know, when we're doing things like this that oppose any form of racism, or when you're sharing a message to a loved one that's passed away, etc., absolutely no issues with that. And I don't think anyone has any problems with it in any way, shape or form. Yes, if you've got no message under your shirt and you're just taking it off to throw in the crowd and you're jubilant from scoring a last minute goal or something, then the rules stay and you get booked. But with things like this, no issues at all. And it's nice to see that the FA and other organisations are showing a bit of common sense for once, and it's good to see. Last piece of news involves Mesut Ozil, and it's not great news for him because he has been dropped by Adidas after they decided to end their 7-year, £17.5 million association with the Arsenal star. The sportswear giant have chosen not to renew the Playmaker sponsorship deal, a partnership which expired this month, having started in 2013 and was worth around £2.5 million a year. Ozil previously had a tie-up with rivals Nike and was a marquee capture for Adidas, joining the likes of Lionel Messi, Paul Pogba and Gareth Bale. They are the German national team's long-standing kit makers and also have their HQ in the country, making Ozil a prime addition at the time. Sources have said that the decision not to extend the partnership is not connected to any of the controversies Ozil has recently been involved in, such as his retirement from international football or being pictured with Turkish President Recep Erdogan, an incident which sparked outrage in 2018. Instead, Ozil's deal was up for renewal at a time when his profile and status has fallen, leaving Adidas reluctant to commit to another big deal on similar terms. No longer playing for Germany since retiring after 2018 World Cup has reduced his appeal, while Adidas are also focusing on stars of the future, with Chelsea's Callum Hudson-Odoi just one of the young names they have invested in. Well, I'll tell you something, if he ends up being found guilty of what he's been accused of, they're going to be investing in solicitors, not boot deals. Adidas tied the Chelsea and England winger down on a bumper deal this season that is worth over £10 million and runs until 2025 to fend off major interest from the likes of Nike, Puma and New Balance. So it's not great for Mesut Ozil, and it'd be interesting to see what he does now. He was once at Nike. Would they come back in and look to take him back? Or would one of the other manufacturers get involved? Puma, New Balance. He's still wearing Adidas boots at the moment, and he's recently been pictured with a new blackout pair. So it's interesting, but that's a big deal to lose. And yeah, it's got to raise some questions. There are people that are saying it's because of his recent actions, leaving Germany, the national sides, you know, his photo with the Turkish president was something that caused outrage, of course. But they're saying it's just because he's not as high profile as what he once was. I don't believe that in a sense, because believe me, Mesut Ozil is still a high profile name. You only have to go on trips abroad. When we went out to Singapore, and you know, we've been to America and all these other countries, and Mesut Ozil is the big attraction, the star name, the one that everybody wants to see. When Arsenal released their new kit this season, the Adidas one, the first name that they sold out in for the back of the shirts was Mesut Ozil. So yeah, it is what it is, and it'd be interesting to see what Mesut Ozil does. And you know, with the deal ending and the season going past when that deal ends, will he continue to play in Adidas boots for the remainder of this current campaign, or will he switch it up? Interesting. But yeah, that's a big deal gone for Mesut Ozil. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think about today's topics. If you're new around there, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video, and I'll see you lot tomorrow. I'm out of here.